What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And in this video here, what I want to talk to you about is the consequences of targeting the wrong people with your clothing brand. I want to share with you my own stories targeting the wrong audience with my clothing brand and what happened. And I also want to talk to you about the other side of that, which is targeting the right people and how to create this win-win situation so that both parties feel like they're coming away with something valuable. This channel here is sponsored by my buds over at Brand Crowd. If you need designs made for your clothing brand, I seriously recommend you check out Brand Crowd. They have a tool called the Logo Maker tool, which is where they have this huge library of already professionally designed logos that are fully customizable. So you can add your own fonts to them, you can add your own layouts to them, all that's free to try. And if you like the logo that you've made, then you can decide to purchase it, remove it from the marketplace so that it's yours. If you're interested, follow the link in the description because it'll give you a huge discount. All right, here's a funny phenomenon for you. Anytime that you try to target somebody that's not aligned with your clothing brand and you're targeting the wrong audience, it can oftentimes create extreme frustration and extreme anger from those people. I mean, think about it yourself, right? People are targeting to you all the time on Instagram or Facebook. And if you've ever had an ad that keeps popping up for you that you're just not interested in, you just don't care about it, it kind of gets frustrating. You kind of feel this like anger towards the company. It's like, figure it out, man. I don't want it, right? Like, stop trying to target me, spend your money elsewhere because this is just annoying popping up in my feed. And basically, when you're doing this for your clothing brand, you're doing the same thing. And I want to tell you a story about when I did this for my own clothing brand, and every clothing brand will do this to an extent, right? Like, there's a learning period that you have to go through where you try out a certain audience, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, and that's kind of just the fire you need to go through in order to get to the other side where you're actually getting results. But I remember when I was putting out an ad, I think about like last year sometime, maybe 2 years ago, and it was this ad that had these girls in it, and they were really good-looking girls, and they were just like kind of like holding each other on like a balcony or something like that. And I was like, oh, this ad's gonna absolutely kill. We're after rural Canada. There are these girls in it. Looks really good. It's gonna kill. And what ended up happening was we were targeting girls with that ad. And the result was that the girls that we were targeting in rural Canada thought that those girls that were in the picture were city girls. And so they're saying like, why are you targeting me with these city girls? And they were just like chirping these girls and getting mad at these girls who were in the ad. And it was just kind of this like result that was like, wow, I did not expect this to kind of go that way, where people had such like an angry, frustrated response with one of my ads. And I'm sure you may have experienced the same thing if you've been putting out ads to the wrong audience. Now, the funny reason why it causes frustration and anger mainly is because there's this underlying tone when you're targeting somebody who's not right for you, that you're assuming that they want to buy from you even though they're not right for your brand. And it's like the brand hasn't done enough thinking and enough almost empathizing with them to understand who they are and to understand where they're coming from. And it creates this frustration, like, dude, how can you try to sell to me when like you haven't understood me enough yet? It kind of creates this frustration and this anger towards the people who are trying to sell. It's kind of like if I hop on here and I try to sell you something that it just isn't right for you. It's not something that you want. It's not something that you need. You're going to kind of have that same thing where it's like, man, you haven't done enough digging into who I am yet. And the person that you're trying to sell to figure out what I actually need, what the problems that I have are, and what the values that I have are. And it's really the same thing when it comes to a clothing brand. Now, I'm about to shoot myself in the foot here a bit because inside of my videos, I talk a bit about how important it is to hustle and to hustle your way to success. And there's this whole era right now around hustling, and it's basically implying this idea of selling at all costs, right? Selling to basically anybody and trying to sell to anybody. And that's just something that I don't really believe in. I really, truly, deep in my heart, don't want to sell my clothing to somebody who doesn't actually want to buy it. And this is something that I've experienced in person and I've witnessed. And I want to tell you a bit of a story of when I was in New York. I was in New York City, and I was walking up Times Square there. And there's all the people in Times Square who are trying to sell CDs. They're trying to sell like mixtapes and stuff like that. And I was walking by with a group of friends. There were about 5 or 6 of us. And this guy that I ran into was an absolute master at hustling. This guy, I was walking up the street, and he was trying to sell his mixtapes. And he basically was like, hey, man, like, here, have one of my mixtapes for free. And he put it in my hand. And he did that because he knew that when he put it in my hand, I'd feel like, you know, now it's mine and now I want to keep it. And then as I was walking away, he goes, "Ah, man, I was just kidding. You need to pay me $5 for that." And he was trying to get me to kind of like feel like I already had it so that, you know, he can make money off of it. It's just kind of this way of hustling. Then I said, "Oh, sorry, man, like I'm not really interested in buying it." And he was like, "Ah, whatever," and like kind of got mad at me. And I was like, "Jeepers, that's pretty intense." And that was just an experience that I had of somebody who was like an expert at hustling. Like this guy, if he applied that work ethic and that fearlessness to a strategy that was actually smart and well thought out, he could be absolutely destroying it. Like if he applied that same work ethic to YouTube or to the internet or to some system where it's actually scalable, he would be destroying it. But the issue here is that he was trying to sell to somebody who doesn't want it, right? And if he had spent his time better, because there's an opportunity cost there of spending all your time trying to sell to people who don't actually want it. And if he'd spent his time trying to sell that to people who just only want it, right? Like he knows who his mixtape's for, and maybe he put out free content on YouTube and he built an audience, and then that audience would want to buy his mixtapes, that would do a lot better for him. So the point that I'm trying to drill in this video here that I hope you take away is that your audience, who you're targeting, knowing that audience and getting closer and closer to an absolute perfect match when it comes to your clothing brand and the audience that you're going after is basically the whole game here, and it's what you're trying to do as a clothing brand owner, okay? So constantly be digging into who exactly your clothing brand is right for, and constantly be spending all of your time trying to get your clothing brand in front of those people, because any time that you spend and any money that you spend trying to get your clothing brand in front of people who aren't right for you is wasted time, it's wasted money, and it's not going to get you the results that you're looking for in order to blow up your brand and get your brand to the place that you need to be. Focus on creating a win-win situation between you making money, you actually selling your products, and the people that are buying from you and the people that you're marketing to having a good experience of your brand and actually wanting to buy your brand, okay? That's really the game here. And so to leave off this video, I hope I don't see any comments in the YouTube video that are trying to promote your brand and try to sell your brand. I would love it though if you would drop your brand down there, because I like to check out the brands that are watching these videos, and check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass video. It's 100% free to watch. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass. You can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that's going on for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group. See you in the next one. Peace.